sometimes I write articles, and it's about herbs or natural remedies instead of taking medications. So it's really about being natural. And right now I'm working on a novel with fairies, and it takes place in nature. And so I think everything in my life goes back to nature. Even when I don't really think about it, the way I put flowers in my hair for my costume, or little decisions that I make, I think it always comes back to nature.
Oh, interesting there. Okay. Could you tell us about your future dream? What?
My future.
Yeah, it's a kind of big question.
Yeah. I've been thinking about that a lot lately because I'm going back home, and I don't know what I'll do because the economy's bad, and I don't know what kind of jobs there will be. So I've been applying for a lot of jobs as an art teacher. If I could do anything, I think I would prefer to teach college art instead of junior high school art, because I remember how bad American students behave.
Really?
Yeah, and I think maybe teaching older students would be easier or more interesting.
And you might be able to concentrate on your own creation in
Maybe.
that way.
I enjoy teaching elementary school, but there aren't many jobs for elementary school teachers. And so usually junior high school, there's more jobs. Sometimes high school, but I think maybe my ideal job would be to teach adults. But so I've been thinking if I want to go back to school again and get another degree, either another master's degree or a PhD, what I should do. So, of course, it takes time and money, and it's a hard decision.
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to go. Maybe I'll get a degree in art, or maybe I'll get a degree in English, and I could teach English instead. When I go back to America, maybe I'll teach some belly dance classes, but I don't think I really know what my dream is anymore. I think I've done. Maybe my dream is to publish my novel, but yeah.
What kind of novel you write?
It's fantasy.
Total fantasy.
Say that one more time.
Total fantasy means based on what kind of?
Like,
it's not a fairy tale and stuff.
Like fairy,
Really?
like a fairy tale, but yeah, a fairy tale.
Wow. Do you have any title? You can pick any titles. Or
The title of the novel that I'm working on is called Silent Moon.
Silent Moon. Sound great.
Silent. So in the story, it's about werewolves, werewolves and fairies.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Interesting. Don't you think the experience here in Japan or anything you learned here you can utilize? I mean, maybe you can move on to study about Japanese culture, Japanese art, and maybe you can be a specialist in that field.
Yeah, I think being in Japan and being immersed in the culture is very useful for applying for jobs in the future and saying that I have experience. I think it also impresses Americans just to say that you lived in another country for a couple of years and you can speak another language. Even if I think I speak Japanese badly, it would still impress Americans. So and learning about different cultures. And in America, we have so many people from different cultures and countries. Cultural tolerance and being accepting of other cultures is very important because not everyone is, and in different work positions, it's very good to be able to be flexible and understanding of other cultures.
Okay. Thank you. And well, this should be the last, thing. But do you have any message for Japanese people, Japanese children, or?
Well, maybe the same thing I would tell American children or Japanese children, that it's a good experience to meet people and talk to people from other cultures. And sometimes people from different cultures have different customs and do things differently, and it's okay to learn about these things, and it's very useful to learn about these things, and sometimes it's very strange because it's different, but knowing that all people are different, and if we can be accepting of their differences, we can bridge cultural barriers better.
I'm sorry, I forgot to ask you, but do you think how Japanese students can improve their English?
Practicing, doing their homework helps, but I have many students who don't do their homework. But if they do extra things, like playing English games, using English vocabulary and words, or singing music that uses English words, like when they go to karaoke, those are all good ways to practice English. And in Japan,
don't you think our classes are boring, Yeah.
It depends. Some teachers that I work with give me a lot of freedom to do activities with the students. So I know if the students are learning about a certain grammar point, like, yes, we can. Of course, like now everyone in Japan knows because of Obama. Yes, we can! So my students like that grammar point. But I can make a game, or I have a couple different games that we can play using those grammar points and activities. And the students are speaking and listening and writing, and they're using that grammar and practicing English, and they're speaking English, which is really important because Japanese people are shy. And
are we?
Yeah. In Korea, Korean people are not shy, so people would speak English even if they couldn't speak well. They would try, and it would improve their English. In Japan, Japanese students and many Japanese adults are so shy. They can understand some English or speak English, but we don't know because they don't use it, and they're hatsukashi.
Okay.
So the more opportunities people have to speak and listen and talk and use grammar, it will improve. And the way the education system is right now in Japan, it's not very fun. And teachers who have been teaching for a long time, they sometimes just talk all class, and it's very boring for the students. And English isn't fun or interesting for them, so they lose interest. But the more activities they do, the more outgoing they become, and the less afraid they are of foreigners. I think it's so much more useful than just writing and reading and knowing grammar, because communication is so important, and part of communication is not being afraid to use the language.
So when you try to have them practice, they are happy to participate in that kind of practicing in the class?
Most students. In America and Japan and everywhere, there will always be one or two students who are just lazy and sleep in class, or they're bad and they they stab their pencil into their desk, or every country, there's always one or two students in a class like that. But most students are so happy to do something different, and I will say to students, let's play a game.
Okay.
Yeah.
They do?
Yeah, they get very excited.
Great. Anyway, thank you very much for let us interviewing.
Thank you.
Yeah.